Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this afternoon. We saw a pretty quiet market in the morning, and then after 2 o'clock Eastern time, the market's really picked up. I wonder why. We don't need to know why. We just kind of take a look at the charts here and kind of browse around at the day today. This is the Nasdaq daily chart. Here you can see daily Nasdaq up 202 points or 1.25% and close at 16,369. So that is not an all-time closing high. It might be an all-time closing high. It wasn't the all-time high because that was 16,449 back on March 8th, and that one closed at 085. That was the reversal day. So finally, we're now back above, that closed, all the closes except for it didn't take out the high. So this is the highest close, is what I'm trying to say. And once again, this thing is just, it got support at the 21. It just continues to get support here at the 21. It's really resilient. Really, I mean, like my old football coach used to say, just keep running that play, until they stop it. And if this thing keeps working, so we'll just keep doing it, right? I expect at one point it's going to come back to the 50, but I was fooled this time. I said that the Jerome Powell spoke today, and you could see here it was just kind of quiet, caution, investors, even from the midday yesterday, very cautious. And then the news came out and bam, spiked higher, a little bit of profit taking, and then strong close. So that looks very good for coming sessions as they close at the near the high of the session. That's a nice hammer candle. So the high was 377 and closed at 369, 8 points off the high. There's your hammer. There's your bounce off the 21. Yeah, pretty textbook stuff right there for the Nasdaq. So your portfolio should be looking a little better today than it did yesterday after that kind of move. But I want to look around at some of the other ones because even the smaller cap stocks even did better today. This is the IWM up nearly 2%. I want to go to that 5-minute chart because you can see the caution, and then as soon as that press release hit, the small caps really took off. They're more rate sensitive. So, if you don't even know what, Jerome Powell said today, you don't need to know. All you need to know is the markets liked it, right? Caution, and then, oh yeah, we like this. We're gonna fire up into the close. So I think it was an all-time high for the S&P as well. So anyway, that's the Nasdaq. The Dow, the 30 stocks, they're doing well. Shoot, since I mentioned it, I better go there. I can't mention something and not show it. Big move higher, closing in on 40,000 here at 39,512. And you can see this big run, and the industrials are actually doing better than the Nasdaq. It seems kind of strange. This is making all-time highs while the Nasdaq hasn't quite yet. It did take out the 16,212, but not from the reversal day. This is clearly making new highs, but with all the artificial intelligence stocks, in the Nasdaq, you would think the Nasdaq would be just romping higher, but it hasn't. It's got more components than just the artificial intelligence stocks. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on. I'm going to get to those artificial intelligence stocks because they made this big run, made a high here, and then on this reversal day, people are saying, "Oh, this is over." NVIDIA's done, or AMD or SMCI or whatever. And all it did was pull back to a moving average. And when it pulls back, I expect a bounce at some point. And this hasn't bounced. It's kind of squatting here. And you take a look at these, I think this is an inside day today, 904.10. Yeah. And so I'm expecting a bounce. I don't want it to just squat here. I know from the big run, they're a little tired and they're going to need some time. It's up after hours. I'll get to that in a little bit. But NVIDIA is still, I would call this like it's forming a bull wedge pattern. Some people might, call this a flag or whatever, but it's, higher lows, just pinching in, consolidating this big gain. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but NVIDIA is, one stock of the AI that's going to do well. If AI revolution is going to be what I think it is, we're just at the beginning, and this is going to be the leader. So this has got a long way to go, in my opinion. after what I saw from Jensen, on Monday, I believe this is the beginning of a new era, much like the internet era. So I'm going to stick with that theme until things change. AMD, people were whining to me today. Oh, it's losing support. It's under the 50, but you got to give these things a chance to heal a little bit. It didn't close below the 50. Yeah, it took a little peekaboo below it and then rose above it. That was partially helped by the Jerome Powell statement. Was really selling off. It was showing weakness, but closed nicely. And it's up after hours. Like I said, I'll get to that in a minute. But don't give up on these things. You know why? Because Broadcom, I took this out of the leader stock list because it was, I don't know, it was below the 50. I got to play by the rules. But anyway, you can see it rallied back through its moving averages here today with it was upgraded, first of all, a nice $43 move of 3.5%. And we're seeing a lot of this. I'm going to show you some charts today about stocks are trading below their moving averages, kind of faking people out. People are selling them, and then they're just rallying right back through. And we're seeing a lot of that. So don't give up on your stocks if they're not percolating exactly how you would like them to. What I'm saying is be patient. Obviously, if they slice the 50 and with volume, you might want to kick those to the curb. But this did nothing wrong. I mean, it's just a pullback. They had it had a big run, had a strong earnings report, sold off, profit taking. Like I say over and over and over again, at some point your stock is going to make a trip to that 50, and this one did. And so now I think you're better off buying here than you would have been up here chasing this performance, right? That to me is a buy area, and I should have had it on the list this morning. But anyway, that's something else. Again, I've got to get to some other stocks. ARM, and other people are saying to me, oh man, this is a high tight flag. It doesn't matter what the pattern is. It doesn't matter if it's a cup with handle or a double bottom or a flat base. This is what I would consider to be a high tight flag. It's not all that tight, but that's a pole with a flag for sure. But it doesn't do any good unless the stock goes higher, right? We had this on our list last week because once again, it's coming down to moving average and squatting. And so it's just digesting gains. And we want to see it come to moving average and bounce. And they're just not bouncing yet. But give them time. I had that buy point at 132. I think last week I took it off for this week because I was just getting tired of the thing and just looking at other areas. And don't want to have too much exposure to AI. What was the other one? Okay, I went to AMD, but SMCI. SMCI, I'm down on these guys. SMCI did make what I believe was a bottom today. I don't know. I'm not a bottom fisher. I'm not a bottom caller, but it's just had its worst stretch in 4 years. This stock is down, 5 days in a row. I think it's a 30% move from the peak to trough. That's a lot. Right now, 27% off of its high here. You can see that. So that it doesn't look like much on this weekly chart, but that's a pretty big move. And I don't know why I say it just feels like it to me. 1229 down to 855. I'm going to say 855, I believe, is the low. First of all, you get a lot of shorts in this thing and it starts going down. They want to take profits, so they're going to buy to cover and drive it back up. I think you saw a little bit of that today. It's like, hey, I don't want to get too greedy here, but I'm not saying it's going to soar right back, to new highs, but I think that could be a bottom and it could just kind of, go sideways for a little bit from here, Anyway, I think their business is fine. I don't like the fact that they went into the S&P and the first day they did a secondary. Now, the secondary was originally priced at $900 to $1,000, and allegedly they said they couldn't get enough buyers at that level, so they lowered it to $875 today. And if I go to the 5-minute, you can see it kind of hung around $875 for a long time. So I believe some of that secondary was exposed today and bought up. So there's demand for this stock. Like I say, I don't think it's going to go right through, 1,000 and back to a new high, but I think the bottom's in. How about that? The low was a 952 on that gap down. So I think it gets to 952 and fills that gap, and then the next, I don't know, the way that thing moves, probably tomorrow, but in the next few sessions. How about that? Anyway, enough of that. I've got to get to some of my stocks that are on my ready list and kind of explain why I just put them on last night. Duolingo, I was just kind of tooling around, looking for some new stocks about it. I noticed Duolingo is in this base. This is a stock that I like because of the way it's moved in the past. It's shown the ability to make, these big moves, which I like. I like stocks that move, right? These big rangy moves. And so now it's consolidated in this base and pulled back to a moving average. This is broke above a downtrend line yesterday, and today popped 3%. So I don't think that moves over at all. If I go to a weekly chart, you can see the right side of that base, when super fast. So usually those take a little time to handle out. And I put that in my report, maybe this thing will kind of just handle out for a little bit. The standard is paint by numbers is 241. So anyway, I like the stock. CRBG is another one that's been on our ready list. Insurance stock, and I got to take it off. This thing just has moved this week a little too much. I think it's kind of chasing here. Yeah, it's up over 7% this week. So I don't know how many of you picked that up, but the insurance stocks have been really hot. APPF Appfolio, I like this one because it's the broke out of a base here and then pulled back to its 50 for the first time since this breakout on January 26th. Made a high of 246. Now it's pulled back to the 50. That's usually a gift in an uptrending market. It was up nearly 2% today, so we'll take 2%. I talked to some trader friends of mine, and they just don't like this stock because it doesn't have a lot of volume. I mean, a $220 stock with only 266,000 shares traded daily. So it's a little thin for them, but I just put it on the list because first trip to the 50. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Synopsis, this was on our ready list as well, broke above the downtrend line today, actually. I put this on earlier. It pulled back to its 50 here. What is this, Monday? Yeah, okay. So it's had a nice run this week. It was mentioned by Jensen, yeah, another 7% mover. So nice move for Synopsis. Jensen did mention it at the GPU Technology Conference earlier in the week. VKTX, I'm just trying to explain some of the my thought process in putting these on our ready list. This one just kind of made I would call this a falling wedge, or maybe even an avalanche trade, where it just seems like the selling is kind of done. And it pulled back to a 21, and shorts are going to cover. There's a lot of shorts in this stock, by the way. And it pulled back to the 21 and now is bouncing. That's the kind of bounce that I'm talking about with AMD and NVIDIA and some of these AI stocks. They pull back to a moving average and then bounce higher, nice bounce there. That was 9% today, 13.5% on the week. So I still like Viking. They're going to have a readout pretty soon. I know it's high, it's a very high spec, high risk, speculative biotech stock. But anyway, I like the chart pattern. I know people are calling this a high tight flag as well. Like I say, I'm not so much into the patterns as the production. It doesn't do any good to have a great pattern unless the thing delivers the goods for us. AROC is still setting up in a base. I put this in as an early entry. I forget the buy point here. I've got to look at my paperwork. 1860 it looks like. So yeah, it's still within a buy point, I believe. Nice pullback here to its 21 and then moved higher the last couple of sessions. So it was up nearly 2% this week, up 3% for the week. So AROC or ArchRock is doing fine. That's a oil and gas machinery equipment stock. Anyway, those are the few of the names that are at MC stock charts. I got to move on here to some people asked me about Dexcom, and some of the medical stocks have been doing pretty well. And I've had this on our ready list, but it just doesn't move. Maybe it will now. I took it off, but you can see this is stage 1 base, cup with handle. The handle's starting to get a little elongated because this really is your handle right here, right? This is your handle. and then it moved higher, nice move, and now it's just going sideways again. So see, there's your move higher, and then the sideways exit. I like it, and I like the medical stocks. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on the ready list. I don't know. I don't think it's on there yet. But anyway, somebody asked me to look at HIMS. I like HIMS as well, but it's a little extended for me here. It's definitely on the move, man. This is a stock on the move, momentum, 10% above its 10 EMA. And you can see every time it comes back to the 10, it's just surfing the 10, just bounces off it every time. So yeah, I like HIMS a lot. Got to look at the weekly when you can see it broke out of this big consolidation here, and it's been up, what, 4 weeks in a row. So yeah, HIMS looks fantastic. So if you own that one, nothing to do but hang on or add when it comes back to the 10. Shockwave, this one frustrates me. It had this cup with handle, the buy point there at 270, and it's kind of moving out now. It's still, within this base here. Here's your cup with handle base, and it just really sold off hard, forming another base here. This is a stage one base here, and I still like it. It's performing well. It's 10 billion market cap, for about $1 billion in sales. So it's a 10 times sales. It's not a cheap stock, but I just like the chart pattern, and it's moving well. So I'm going to get out of the medical stocks. I have to go to the energy stocks because we've heard about Jensen and all the AI stocks, AMD and SMCI and Palantir and Broadcom and ServiceNow. We know, Microsoft, all the AI stocks, but he talked about the power that's needed to drive the artificial intelligence revolution. And I'm just going to go through a bunch of power stocks. I talked about this pattern here where the undercuts the moving average and rallies back above. This is Constellation, which is a spinoff from Exelon. This thing looks fantastic to me. I might have even actually dipped into that pond recently. Energy, this one has the ants. I mean, this is a utility stock, okay? Utility power. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, this is a breakout and a move higher. This is utility stock. These are dividend, these are value players. Yeah, it pays a 2.4% dividend. Well, anyway, it's moving higher because, power. VST is a utility again, electric power utilities. It's got the ants, which just indicates momentum and strength. And, funds are buying it, right? That's Vistra, VST, and that's another one that's just killing it. I'm not saying buy these here. People want to know, like, could I buy this? Well, you can buy anything at any time as long as you got to stop, 3, 4, 5%, however, whatever you can tolerate. I can't tolerate much of a loss. If it turns on me, but then I'm going to get rid of it. But the stock doesn't know you own it. So if you buy, the trend's probably going to continue whether Marty owns it or not. So just keep that in mind. If you want to own a stock, like I showed you earlier with the Abercrombie, I blew it. I didn't buy it because it was trending. I was waiting for a pullback, and it pulled back like 70 points higher. So anyway, couple of others, and I'll get out of this. People think of Caterpillar as plowing the fields or just a machinery, but this is a data center play, power play as well. And this is just trending higher. This looks fantastic. Caterpillar. When Caterpillar, makes new highs, I get a little nervous, but it's in a different area right now. Same with General Electric, another power play, just trending higher. If you wanted to buy this, you just wait for a pullback to moving average. It's just trending higher. If you want to own something like that, that's the way I do it. I mean, you could do whatever you want. This is Eaton once again. Big breakout back here, just trends higher. Now, this is probably an earnings report here, and it's just surfing its 10. This is a Kelly Slater, Laird Hamilton stock right there. A lot of these power plays are, and the last one, of course, is Quanta Services, which I think I show every day because I'm probably in love with this stock. But anyway, just gapped higher, and it's just surfing the 10. It's up every day. Nobody talks about it. Anyway. I've got to go to this drug stock, just one drug stock today. And this is the little speculative. This is what I talk about when you have these spec biotech plays. This is 330 million market cap. This is a flea. I mean, of a stock. This is a spec. I mean, NVIDIA spends more than that a day on, their transistors and equipment for their artificial intelligence. But this one had a secondary offering. Gosh, now I'm forgetting the the amount of the offering. It doesn't matter. They had an offering, but it's good if you're a long-term shareholder. This is a good offering. They're raising cash so they could launch. They have their anaphyllum, if I pronounce that right, approved. This is they're going to replace the EpiPen, and then the Libervant is going to be reviewed by the FDA and possibly approved in April. So they're raising funds because they think they might be bringing a couple of drugs to market. That's expensive to launch that. So yeah, pull back today. It's been running hard though. So if you missed it here at 295 and you saw it run up to 6, you go, darn, I missed it. Well, maybe this is an opportunity here as it pulls back to the 21. If you're into these speculative type plays, this to me is like a long-term thing. You're not gonna day trade this. This is what happens, right? When you get these spec plays, they need money. They need to raise money. So when the stock spikes, they do a secondary and raise some money to launch. So if you're a long-term holder, this is fine. If you're a day trader, that kind of sucks. A 15% move haircut. Nobody likes that. So anyway, I'm going to move on. Chipotle Mexican Grill with their 5150 stock split. 50-for-1 stock split, I should say. Chipotle. I don't know. Stock splits, they attract interest. If you don't want to pay $3,000 for a stock, now you're going to get it at what, $55 or something, whatever it was, $60. It really ramped higher this morning, 3,023, and then pulled back as cooler heads prevailed. It's the same valuation of the stock. It just split up 50 ways. So anyway, just had to clarify that. That is one of our leading stocks on our leading stock list, by the way. So I had to show that. CAVA is showing a lot of strength here. There's the IPO cup with handle just blasted higher. Now it's surfing its moving averages once again. Had a nice 5% move today. And no, I haven't eaten at Texas Roadhouse, Wingstop, or CAVA. Or I haven't been to KRUS Sushi. I guess, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it because I've never been there once again. I don't really go out to restaurants a whole lot. But this one's up against its old high here of 110. So I kind of like that. And this one has this, cup with handle pattern. So this one might appear on our ready list here soon. Pulled back there, nice cup. Now starting to move higher. And if we look at the daily chart, it's going to look extended on the daily here as it pounded higher. There's your handle there. There's your move higher. But to me, the 110 is the one to take out. Once it takes that out, it's blue skies. So I'm keeping my eye on KRUS Sushi. Come other once again, there's your undercut the moving average and rip higher. Philip PVH Corp. Once again, what did I want to say? Oh yeah, made a high here, then pulled back, undercut its moving averages, and then ripped higher. 3.74% today. It's up. Oh, don't do this to me, Marcus Smith. It's up 5% this week. So that's a nice move on that, undercut and rally move. So we're seeing a lot of this, and you see that in strong markets. It's just profit taking, and then buyers come in and take it higher. GPS, this is what I'm just showing you. This is Gap, the retail shoes. It's got this breakout here. It's got the ants. It's up, I don't know how many days in a row. Like there's a new rule. It's got to go up every day. Crocs is another one in this group. I have to show, man, this is a thing of beauty here. Broke out of a stage 1 base on this day. And this is why we pay attention to these breakouts from bases. Yeah, it pulled back to a moving average, and then it's just surfing the 10. Another Kelly Slater stock. Now it's in the profit taking zone. I mean, that was a big move today. More than 6%. Crocs is up, what, over 9% this week. So that's a big move for that stock. Still not an expensive name, though. and I still like it, but man, I would think you got to take some off the table there. Gildan, I think they reported earnings, gapped higher out of this cup with handle. That's a thing of beauty. Made a new high today. So yeah, the retail apparel looks fantastic. Elf, another one that undercut the moving average and everybody gives up on it. Elf's dead. It's going to form a base, and then it just rips 5% right back through its moving averages. So you got to pay attention there and never give up on these things, right? Celsius is one that I wanted to show. Once again, undercut. It's 10 and now rallied hard today, nearly 5%. So you know, you got to just pay attention, that's all, and don't fret, you know, pullback. So they've been getting support during this uptrend. Okay, the insurance stocks, Ryan is one of them. Just got the ants, just moving higher, breaking out of a base. The one that I showed you earlier, I believe I showed you earlier, that was on our ready list, is Corebridge, a nice breakout there. AJG Gallagher, this is one that we had on our ready list earlier. You can see the cup with handle, the paint by numbers buy point, and just trending higher. These are not fast moving stocks, but trending higher is nice. ACGL is another one we had on our ready list. I know some folks got this one, and it's just trending higher. There's nothing to do there. There's no sell signs, there's no buy signs, there's just kind of a hold and ride the wave, man. Hang 10. Anyway, I was going to say that's it for me, but I have to show some oil and gas stocks. The oil and gas were weak today. You know, the price of oil was down, but the stocks on our ready list are doing phenomenal. And this is what I talk about, and often after a move higher, you can see that thing moved higher, consolidated, trading tight within a base, then moved higher, trade tight again, had an inside day yesterday and moved higher today more than 3%. So you got to be aware of those patterns. I had that on our ready list at, I don't know, $60. 59.05, 59.05, so it's up a couple bucks. So OVV, this is one, once again, these are slower movers. You can see it's had a big move in the past, consolidated, trading tight within the base, moved higher, then pulled back to its moving average and found support there. So that's doing nothing wrong if you're long AVV. This is PR, the Permian Resources. I had it on the ready list and it moved higher. I think it was last week or the week before. And this thing, I believe, is just heading to $20, and before it'll take a little rest there. Yeah, you can see that long consolidation moving higher. Anyway, that's it for me, except for I lie in the honor of the great Steve Jobs. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to say in the honor of Jensen Huang, but he's gonna have to earn it for another 10 years or so. I have to look at some stocks after hours because I believe we're going to see a big move tomorrow. Once again, a follow-up, and maybe the AI stocks will get going again because Micron Technology blew the roof off. Just their guidance. Their guidance was really strong. And so I believe that will carry over to some of those names that I showed you earlier, like AMD is up after hours, NVIDIA, yeah, up $5. Broadcom. Yeah, these things could really move tomorrow. Yeah, it's up $5 after hours. Just on the Micron. We say, well, Micron's only a $106 billion company, and how could it move NVIDIA? Because of the guidance here and what they have to say. And I have to parse through the language a little more, but obviously investors are weighing in after hours, and this thing's got big volume after hours. So that looks really good for tomorrow. I forgot to go to Five Below. And this one's doing the opposite. Nice cup with handle pattern, and it's going to take a little bit of a haircut tomorrow, 13%. I didn't go through the numbers, but you know, that's why I say the chart patterns, they're only great if they if the stock trades higher, they're great if they trade lower. Well, what good was the chart pattern? All right. CHWY, I did see the CHWY report. They beat pretty good. I was surprised. And no, it's only up 1% after hours, but it was a nice beat, and it was up 6%. Definitely in a downtrend, but oh, my last one is KB Homes, another strong report. They crushed it. This is not, you know, a real fast mover or something that's going to be traded a lot in after hours, but KB with a nice strong beat. I'll have more of this stuff in the morning. Have more stocks on our ready list. I'm doing really well. And so at mcstockcharts.com, we just never give up. Thank you for watching.